Straw Hut Media.
Hello, On the Rockers. Put the kids to bed. It's On the Rocks After Dark edition, where the House of Blayne meets the House of Payne, with the runaway stars of Tubi's House of Heat reality TV show, adult content creators and influencers Sumner and Koaty Blayne. With my guest co-host, adult star and artist turned drag queen, Dakota Payne is here with me. I don't have an OnlyFans, only cats. But your sassy host with the sassy most, Alexander. Raise a glass, let the drinks begin. It's On the Rocks.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Lord Buns and Bows and Pantyhose, On the Rocks podcast, a place where we're too glam to give a damn. We have a hot show tonight. Get out the Kleenex. I don't know if we're going to be crying or using it for other things. Whoop. On the Rocks summer tour is almost coming to an end. You want to see On the Rocks on the road? Come join us Sunday, August 11th as we take over the main stage with Out at the Fair all day at the Orange County Fair. Go to outthefair.com for more info. Also, I will be your host in Ojai at Ojai Art Center on Sunday, August 18th at 2 p.m. for a Golden Girls fan experience with Golden Girls writer Stan Zimmerman. Go to ojaiartcenter.org for tickets. And finally, join us in Albuquerque, New Mexico for New Mexico State Fair on Sunday, September 8th, all day as we once again take over the fair. The gays at the fair. Who would have thought? Outatthefair.com for tickets and info. Okay, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at On the Rocks on Air, and on Facebook, On the Rocks Radio Show. Send me an email, book me for a pride, wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I'll show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. Also send us your comments, your guest requests, and your guest questions. We got your guest questions. We're going to try to get to them all. Some of them were pretty saucy. The show's presented by Straw Hut Media. You can watch and or listen to our now over 386 episodes. You can watch us on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, on the Outlet.tv app, Facebook Watch, streaming with pride on SVTV, and on Channel 31 on the East Coast. Hello, East Coast. We proudly tape at UBN Go Studios, your one-stop place for podcasting. Whew. All right, I'm done with that. Let's get the show on the road. I'm so excited for tonight. Joining me as my guest co-host, returning to the show, Dakota Payne, actor, musician, and stylist. Stylist to some of your favorite drag race queens, by the way, who has worked with many of the top gay adult studios. He currently works full-time on film and music video sets, while also performing as his drag persona, Gemini. Please welcome back Dakota Payne from the House of Payne.
Oh my God.
It's so funny when I see you out in WeHo and you're Gemini, it takes a whole, thing. Can we get the video playing behind me? It looks like I'm already drunk and I'm not.
Oh, God.
There we go. Okay.
Yes. You see me, initially it's fear, and then it's, oh, that's Dakota.
Because I'm like, oh, who's that pretty girl? And then I'm like, oh, because you are two totally separate personas.
Oh, yeah? Is it, hard to clock me?
Well, then I see that tuck and I'm like, oh, that's Dakota.
Uh-huh. You see this chin and this jawline,
Yeah.
maybe. Yes.
But you have really established Gemini as a whole different persona from what the Dakota that fans know and love from before.
Well, I was doing drag before I did porn.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, back in the day in Texas, I did a lot of bartending, hosting shows and stuff, and then porn came along, and now I'm sort of getting back to the drag. That is.
Well, and it really has taken off. How have your fans from the adult industry kind of followed you?
Oh, so many people don't give a shit. I'm just kidding. There are some people that care about your personality, but in the world of porn, a lot of people only care about the physicality. That's for sure. But yeah.
But has there been pushback? Are they like, we don't want to see you in a wig and heels?
No, well, there was some pushback immediately, especially after the whole pineapple support experience when we did the pageant for that. But now people are sort of ebbing and flowing with it. It depends on the social media platform. If you post on TikTok, people are like, oh, yes, gender expression. If you're on Twitter, they're like, don't fucking show me
Isn't
that.
that funny?
Nonsense, yeah. And
Yeah.
Instagram, they're kind of like, oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All across the board.
Okay. Yeah. Do you miss being in the adult industry at all? And here's the weird thing, because you film so much content, you could retire and there's still new stuff coming out 2 years later.
Literally.
So people still, I don't think it's really fully hit them. Although I did get a comment from a celebrity that's been on the show, and he's like, please tell him to get back to the adult industry.
Who was it? Will you tell me after?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll make some content. I'm not saying that I'll never return. I think the issue is that I've done so many scenes, I've been oversaturated in the industry, and everything out there is available for free. And so until I can sort of regain my little marketing scheme, dipping in other pots.
Well, and that is the funny thing about the adult industry. Now that we have social media as a part of it, now that we have OnlyFans part of it, remember in the heyday, and this is before all y'all's time, when you have to get porn on DVD, we had porn stars that would make their appearances and you would travel to go see them because you'd have to wait till the new DVD came out that you would rent it or buy it.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a star that a studio puts out, they're hot for maybe 1 or 2 years and then they are oversaturated because we see every aspect of their life on social media. They win all the adult industry awards. They're on OnlyFans and filming with the same kind of people, and we kind of get...
And no one has to pay for porn, really. You can sort of like access it elsewhere. And so unless you're like some star with this huge cock and this great body and
but we know...
usually no tattoos,
We won't mention names, but we know sometimes that still not enough.
Even the biggest heroes can fall.
Oh, boy.
All right, well, we're going to talk about all these kind of things, and we're going to kind of talk about adult content creation, but like beyond that, like who we are as people and how we came to the industry. So let's welcome our guest of the evening. Koaty and Sumner Blayne are a fiery, engaged couple who have been together for 5 years. They gained fame on OnlyFans during the pandemic, with their account now averaging 5 figures monthly. Why did I buy the vodka tonight then? Like, why didn't they bring it? 5 figures. Embracing their love for partying and adventure, they aren't afraid to bear it all, as we saw on Tubi's House of Heat, both figuratively and literally. Despite their wild escapades, their bond remains strong, supporting each other through the highs and lows of their newfound success. And we saw it all. We saw the fights, we saw the love, we saw the sex on Tubi's hottest reality TV show, House of Heat, with all episodes now streaming for free. Let's take a quick super peek at House of Heat.
My online life and my real life are 2 very different lives.
This is behind the scenes right now.
The house has been out of control.
This is going to be fun.
Hello, thank you, Tony.
Hi.
How long ago did you guys actually film it?
So this was filmed in the spring.
Okay.
So they released it very fast because we're already in,
And it was edited pretty quickly.
They aired it in June. So it was about a month after we were done filming that they had the first episode.
Even so, there's been some time. You guys have been doing the whole media circuit. Like I said, I think you guys are the runaway stars. And don't tell the other cast members that. But like fans really like latched onto you guys. I think because we saw the different aspects of it, but we saw you guys come back around. What's it like to watch a teaser knowing what you went through for all those weeks?
You know, it was definitely, the time between filming and it airing, I questioned all my actions throughout the process. But there were episodes that we watched, they were hard to watch. But now that I've watched them once, rewatching them, it's really easy to just laugh at and kind of, it's not the easiest to see yourself drunk either. That's the first time I
can't wait till you rewatch this episode.
But overall, it was, a very, very fun experience. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I think doing it like this first time, I definitely would go in with a different mindset and approach, maybe be a little more strategic in my actions, but
No more strategies.
I loved it raw how it was.
We loved it. We loved it. It was our first time doing reality TV, and I think that
I have to say, for somebody's first time, and you've done many reality TV shows, for somebody's first time being in that environment, that's a lot to ask of somebody new to filming TV.
in our relationship, we've been in business together. We do OnlyFans, and we have our personal relationship together for the last 5 years. And to be thrown in a house with, we've never had roommates together, so to be thrown in a house with 9 people and be filmed 24/7 with no privacy, nowhere to get away, nowhere to decompress, like, you're thrown into an unfamiliar environment, but like, we really tried to make the most of it. And just, the stuff hit the fan. There was no holding back after a couple weeks. Emotions just come out. You finally decide, like, this is the place to just let it out.
And I will
But
say,
that's the point of it.
I will say, as you would know, the gay OnlyFans world is completely separate from the straight. So we went into the house not knowing any straight or female creators.
I think that's better. Actually.
Yeah.
I love that element.
Yeah. And, I think we learned the most from them. Like, our businesses are prospering even more just from stuff that we've learned from Steph.
I've noticed there has been a change in what you guys do, and there's stuff that's family friendly, there's stuff that's for everybody, but you're pleasing your fans. I have noticed this shift, and might I say, not there was any issue with it, but I've seen like a bump up.
Yeah. It was a more realization that, there's so many people on OnlyFans, just like it's saturated. But what we're offering is our relationship. And that's something that we became even more aware of in the process. So we kind of use YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and we show literally the fun side of ourselves. We have the deep conversations on YouTube. We, give you the sex on OnlyFans. And doing this reality show was like that last piece of privacy that we had left. But we were willing to
Out the
we
fucking
were
window.
willing and we were ready to give it,
Baby,
and we don't regret it for a second.
Well, and we saw a lot, and I love the way that it was edited because it was still fun. It was still, we didn't see anything too explicit, but there was enough to, if you,
I think going
I was
into it,
I was thinking it was going to be a little more explicit. I mean,
that's what I think everybody was waiting for, but it didn't even need to be that because we got everything that we wanted.
I think initially that was the plan for it to be a little more explicit, but something along the way, maybe somebody got scared and they pulled back a little bit. We went in really wanting to show how hard we work. I'm the one person on the show that has a W-2 job, engineering career.
Structural engineer, correct?
Yes. And this content and this life is way
Smart
harder.
and pretty.
Well, you said it, not me.
He really is.
But, that part of our life is more work than my actual job.
Yeah.
And, it's too bad that there was so much drama that it kind of took away from them showing how much work we're doing. But the drama was intense, and I understand why they had to show it for sure.
Well, we are going to get deep dive into all these themes that we're talking about, and we got your fan questions. Don't worry, we're going to answer them. But I kind of want to backtrack. We know present day Sumner and Koaty, but I kind of want to go back. We don't know where the hell you came from, and I want to know where your hometown is. What kind of kid were you? Were you guys the jocks, the nerds, the theater kids? What was happening?
So for me, I was raised Mormon.
That's
what makes a good porn star.
I was just going to say that's
Mormons.
They all are. We were at a sex party recently, and I was literally the only one that was not a Mormon.
We found a little sex kiki
They're
after
gonna
kiki
convert
where
you,
it was a bunch
yeah.
of Salt Lake
I
boys.
was also the
so I was
only
like, babe,
bottom.
you're the only one that's not Mormon here.
He couldn't walk the next day. But Mormons and Catholics are the best in bed because we are the most repressed.
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, not in Utah. I grew up in Southern California.
What part?
Downey.
Oh, okay.
Also, Long. I would say Long Beach if you're not from California.
I'm from Orange County, too.
Okay, so you know Downey.
Well, Laguna Beach, San Clemente.
He doesn't go to that side of town,
If you're
honey.
not from California, you've never heard of Downey. But so just LA area. And so I grew up Mormon, and I never went on a mission. I never went to BYU, but I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now. But we actually met while I was in a previous relationship.
Yeah,
so.
which is it's on the show. Actually,
It went everywhere. It went viral.
Episode 3, we're barely in. There's 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minute clip of us telling us how we met, and that hit the Daily Mail, national news. We met I met him with his boyfriend New York Pride in 2019, and we were like a throuple for the weekend, and within a month.
Don't say a throuple for the weekend. Just call it what it was. It was a threesome.
It was a threesome.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a
A
throuple.
throuple is
It
when
was
you
a
get on the
threesome.
lease together and somebody has to take out the
Yeah.
trash and somebody has to cook.
There was
and
no
somebody has to-
There was no commitment other than what was happening that
It was
weekend.
a throuple for 24 hours.
Maybe
it was
12.
It was I feel like it was more like 48.
Okay, now here's the thing, and we did get this question because it did go viral. It's like, oh my God, they met in a threesome. To the gays, that's like, and then
That article, that article I read had the word shocking in it more than I've ever seen the word used in my entire life.
oh, that's a really good writer too. Shocking, cut and paste, shocking.
Shocking threesome.
Yeah, it is not shocking. What I would want to know is more, and we did get a lot of questions about it, and it's not shocking to us.
No.
But was it love at first sight, or what was that attraction? How long were you with your previous partner?
So at that time, I had been with my partner for a year and a couple months, and we actually had already broken up one time a couple months prior. That relationship was very much fading out. And I like to say I did, in a way, leave that relationship for this, but in a way, we didn't do anything that was behind anyone's back. He was a catalyst. We had such a great night together, the three of us, but him and I just hit it off so much. We were bonding about so many different things. And then a couple weeks later, he invited us to come to hang out. My ex and I to come hang out with him at San Diego Pride, and we went and hung out with him. And my ex just kind of saw all the connection that him and I were having, and so that was kind of an eye-opening moment for me of just that relationship has to be over. I'm not going to do anything behind that relationship back. I'm not going to go just cheat on you or anything. It just we were playing with someone, but this relationship clearly needs to be over, and let's see what happens after.
I will say too, I knew that I found out they broke up through his ex. He didn't tell me. He was still texting me once in a while, didn't tell me the
playing it
news.
cool.
Yeah, so it was a couple weeks before he was like, like told me, "Oh, I'm single." I'm like, "Oh, I know." And then we went to market days that year together for the weekend, and then we were pretty inseparable after that.
No, but here's the reality. If a relationship is suffering, many times people try to have a threesome or whatever to spice it up, or they try to have a baby, or they try to buy a house together to save a relationship. And sometimes it just doesn't work. It doesn't mean like something lurid, or like you said, you did it all in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, what's the harm in that? Sometimes we meet people, it works out, and sometimes they don't. I know
so
you've met many different people along your travels.
We've had we've had a conversation about that too when we got together, because we met in a threesome, so we were like, we knew it was going to happen eventually for us too, and we just wanted it to be organic. But our whole thing was, we didn't want to have to do it to replace what we're missing.
I was just going to say, you didn't do it to save something.
We looked at it as adding a sex toy for fun, kind of.
Your last threesome's listening like, I'm just a sex toy.
Yes, you are.
You're just the cherry on top, baby. You're just
Chad
cherry
Michael
on
Chad,
top.
you are a sex toy. In my mind, his name is Chad Michael Chad. I don't know.
It's a great name.
But let's back up a little bit more. I want to know more about you guys growing up. Growing up Mormon, even though you didn't do the mission and all of that, we're still told all of this repressive stuff. When did you first kind of realize that you weren't like the other boys?
I actually remember having my first like kind of fantasies at probably like 5 years old.
5 years old?
Yeah. I remember like having
I
little
was watching
crush.
GoBots. I just aged myself, by the way. I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja thingies, whatever they are.
So was I. But I don't know. I just remember having little fantasies about everything, and it was not girls. It was not the girls that I was growing up. It was the guys that I was
The Mormon
around.
church makes it hard, though, because they have all these elders, right? And they're all dressed up, from what I've seen from the porn.
And it's very kinky.
Are
Men
you
in
watching?
suits
Book,
is a
are you
fetish.
watching?
Yes.
Are you watching Book of Mormon porn where they're in their garments?
Yeah.
There's many websites that are devoted. In fact,
I don't have any garments because I never went on my mission. You have to go on your mission to get those garments. I don't have them.
But if you throw on a suit and tie, we're all going to assume. If you
Yeah.
two dress up and go
Yeah.
knock door to door, and then some like hung top opens, and you're like, have you heard the good
Should we
news?
do
Baby,
that?
that's just called minute play.
Yes.
Thank you. So, but at 5 years old, when did you first really come to terms with it? You're like, oh,
When
well,
did I come?
please don't say anything under 18. I don't want to get sued. No Austin Wolves here. But when did you first kind of realize, oh, this is part of not just my fantasy, but part of my lifestyle? And what was your kind of coming out story?
I would say like it was in my high school years that I finally started to. When you grow up Mormon, it's not just like church every Sunday. It's like when you're in high school, you go to a before high school class called seminary, and like so you show up at 5 a.m. Like you're taught Mormon scripture until like 6:30. Then you go to high school. Then you have like the Wednesday night like teenage session that they do. Like they really engulf
so
you.
intense.
Yeah, they engulf you and just like your whole life is being Mormon. And so around 15, 16 maybe, I decided that like I'm not doing any of this anymore. And I kind of like separated. I stopped going to church. And I kind of like made like a new group of friends.
Was it a shock to your family?
It was. And like, I will say like, look, this was 2006. So this is back when emo, like people were
Yeah.
emo.
I was an emo
Flatter
kid
in the
too.
back.
I went
Yeah.
Not
I was
me.
a fake emo though. My
I
emo
went-
was Hot Topic.
I was two
No,
polos,
I
collars
dyed my hair black and was like shopping at Hot Topic and going to raves.
Didn't you work at Hot Topic?
No, I don't.
Tax
I'm
sign.
taxed. I worked at
I'm
tax.
Azriel.
So I met.
Azriel Blayne.
Is that your drag name?
It was this dude.
That could be your drag name when you
Azriel
go
Blayne?
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
his drag name is Sky Diamond.
But no, 2 weeks out of high school, I went to a rave with an ex of mine, a female. She was bisexual, and we were like, intoxicated on the dance floor, and I was like hugging her. We were sweating, and I was like, hey, I just want you to know, I think I'm bisexual.
Didn't we all say that? It was like the first little stepping stone.
I think millennials actually
I'm
ruined.
bisexual. Give me all the dick you can.
I think millennials ruined bisexual for like Gen Z.
We
who
really
are
did,
actually
because-
bisexual
that are
because
actually
we
bisexual.
use it
You're
as a
right.
transition word.
Yeah.
Where now it's like
They're all
everyone
just
Because
But
I
no, it does have
know-
validity because
Yeah.
we have big A-list celebrities that are coming out as bisexual who
Yeah.
are married and have kids, and they're saying no, bisexual.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you're right now. it
Because
has
I know
validity.
that
As a millennial, I
people-
apologize.
People, their bisexuality is a thing. At that time, like, no, I was not. But like, that was my stepping stone with her because I knew she was bisexual. She was like, we were at a rave in the middle of the warehouse in San Bernardino, and she's like,
Your mascara's running.
yeah,
eyeliner,
she's like, I'm gonna find guys for you to make out with, and I met my first.
and then he found me.
I met my first boyfriend that night, and that it was like kind of the stepping stone of like coming out at that time.
What was coming out to your family like?
So being that they're Mormon, Luckily, my mom, she was Mormon, but she had like kind of a wild side in her 20s. She left the church probably from like 20 to 30. So she kind of had some experience like being outside of the church. And so we did come out in like an argument. Like we were fighting and I like ran into the room and I was like, well, you know what, Mom, I'm gay. And I ran out. So we had like
I mean, how can you top that? And she's like, I drank caffeine this morning. Like, what are you going to do?
And so she came in like 10 minutes later and she's like, so are you being serious? And but she was very accepting. She was very accepting of me.
She should be a mom first and then religion, right?
Yeah, no, and she was. I'm very grateful. She passed away a couple years later, but during that time that I came out from 17 to 19 while she was around, I came out. She met my first boyfriend. She was so supportive.
Wow.
She had him over all the time. She actually was my advocate to her 10 brothers and sisters and my whole Mormon family to be like, you accept him or we're done. And I know a lot of people don't have that. Like, it's like you in a religious family, like you come out and you're ostracized. So
100%.
I'm very grateful to have one. My mom's not here anymore. During that time, those last couple of years, we got close. I came out and she was my advocate.
That's amazing. Can I ask you, going through grief at such a young age, how did you work through that? You obviously are a hard worker. You obviously have a positive outlook towards life. You still have the capacity to love somebody. Going through grief at that early of an age can shut you off from all of that. How did you work through that?
I would say at that time I was lost. I was very lost. Like at that time, I barely graduated high school. And I was with my first boyfriend at the time. But when my mom passed away, like it was a big like motivator I moved in with my dad and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put myself in college. It had been like 3 years. I'm going to put myself in college and I'm going to I'm going to like make a difference in my life. I'm not going to just like keep going down this path of like not knowing what the heck I'm doing with my life. So as sad as it was, like it pushed me to motivate myself to move forward and like get my degree and not like never play this victim card.
Well, you know, people go through one or the other choice. The other one is to be victim to it and use an excuse for the rest of your life. Yeah. And people make that decision. So, and thank you for sharing that, by the way. You know, we see the life of influencers and we see the smoke and mirrors and we see the happiness and we see all of that. Every one of us has a story like this. Every one of us comes from a place of passion and grief and coming out and things like that. So it's so important to hear that side of that story.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But in high school, were you the jock? Were you on the debate team? Like, what was happening?
What was I? I did jazz choir.
I was nerd.
No.
Yes.
And the family didn't know then?
I did jazz choir. Honestly, I wouldn't say I was a jock or a nerd or anything. I was kind of invisible. Mm-hmm. I would say I would just kind of coasted by. You know, I didn't really do any sports. I did jazz choir because I liked singing at the time, but
You like doing this?
Jazz?
Just hands.
I will say in high school, I didn't excel at anything. Either way, you know?
Well, the Mormon faith also kind of teaches you to blend into everything, to become this unified.
I feel like I blended in.
Yeah.
You're in a cult.
Okay, Koaty, where did you grow up? What was your hometown?
So I grew up in a town called Sunbury, Pennsylvania. It's literally like where all the Amish are from.
Oh my God. You guys, Mormon and Amish, you guys have your own porn studio, like ready to go.
Yeah, so, you know, not religious. My parents had my brother at 18, had me at like 20, and you know, everyone's like,
so young parents.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you know, what church, what religion? I was like, we are poor. My parents worked on Sundays, so we didn't go to church. But I grew up, I was always the like overachiever kid. I would remind the teacher there's a quiz today.
Oh my God, you were that kid.
You know, I was class president, valedictorian.
Were you really?
Honor society, like I was all of it. You know,
Were you out at the time or you were?
No, I came out in college. I went to Penn State. I think in high school, I just knew I was different and I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to leave my small town. So I didn't really, you know, there were times where I'm like, looked at a guy and I was like, oh, okay, he's like attractive, but I always had girlfriends and I always assumed, oh, I like girls, like all my friends are girls. But you know,
and if you don't know anything else,
now in my 30s, I'm like, oh, when all your best friends are girls, you're the gay guy in the group. But I realized I worked so hard and I didn't really pay attention to dating and all that stuff because I just wanted to get the hell out of my hometown. So I only focused on that. And when I got to college is when I like let myself loose a little bit, started like partying and, you know, had sex with some girls to try it out. And I was like, this does not seem right. well, this is not the hype. This is not the hype that I've heard about.
Yeah.
And when I was a sophomore in college, I officially came out to my friends and my family. And even my brother and his wife, they've been together since like they were in middle school. And I'm closer to probably my sister-in-law than my brother sometimes. And she was like, God, we hated you. And then you came out and you became so cool. She's like, you were so uptight and
You
miserable.
were that annoying president. There was go beat him up.
I just like was focused to like, I knew I had to find
hated them,
something.
Right? All the time.
Yeah.
They were always the most annoying.
Yeah. So
how did you go from building tables in Amish country to being a structural engineer? Like, how did that journey happen?
Well, it's really funny. Like, I actually used to like to cook when I was younger. And I actually told a teacher when I was in high school, and she was like, oh, you're too smart for that. So I had this whole idea that I needed to go to school for something that was like money, that made money, that you like for sure made money. And
so not really your passion. But,
yeah. But like, I always excelled in math and physics. So, and I loved just like, honestly, interior design. So I took all of those and was like, okay, I'm going to do structural engineering. I'm going to go learn how to build houses. So that's what I went for. I was there for 6 years. I got my master's. I got my bachelor's. I did the whole building design thing for 3 years. And then I ended up working for the government. And now I work for the federal government, and I don't really like to talk about what I do specifically.
I don't need them looking into my finances.
You have aliens, something to do with Area 51.
But if you told me aliens,
but I've had that job for 10 years, and I started the OnlyFans thing with Sumner when we started dating. That's a conversation we had as soon as we started dating, and it was very scary because I didn't really know like the risk that I may have been taking career-wise. But I did look it up, and I cannot be fired. So.
There's many porn stars that are in the military that work for the government.
Yeah. I won't
name names, but
I've worked there for so long. It's kind of like a 10-year situation. And also I'm very good at my job. So it'd be crazy for them to get rid of me. But,
now what was it like coming out to your family?
I was in college, and in my head, did not expect them to take it very well. So even before I told them, I already decided that I was cutting them off. I didn't even give them the benefit of the doubt. I just was for sure, just the way that my dad talked when I was younger, making gay slurs or like all that stuff. But when I went and actually told them, they were amazing. So that's just a point for anyone who's not out, who's like scared to tell their family, like give your family the benefit of the doubt, because sometimes they will impress you. And my family really did. And especially my mother, my brother and his wife, like, they are like my whole heart and soul. Like, I could care a lot. All the rest of my family, I don't really get along with my father anymore, but it's not because of being gay. It's just because he's a bad person. So,
well, I want to ask, since joining OnlyFans, we'll talk about, because you guys really got into it during the pandemic. Yes.
Yes.
What was that kind of switch, Koaty and Sumner, where you're like, okay, let's do this because it does change your life, and maybe you can chime in on this. Once you make that decision to do adult, there's no turning back.
Yeah. So honestly, for a while, a couple of months, it was literally paying our rent. I mean, in LA, rent's expensive. So, it was paying our rent. We were doing okay. And then we had a friend who, during COVID, made a TikTok account, and his account was exploding. He's like, you guys need to do it. You guys need to do it. And I was like, I cannot do another social media. Like, I had already had like a decent Instagram following because I used to be chubbier and I lost weight and ended up through my journey getting some following. But then Sumner did make a TikTok for the two of us. And that's kind of where we came up with the Koaty Sum name. And it just blew up overnight. And we literally, I remember it was like August of 2020. All those people were rushing to our OnlyFans, and we literally just watched our OnlyFans numbers.
That's
just
4 years ago.
What was the first TikTok? What did you make? What set it off?
The first couple
TikTok,
are a little cringy.
Well,
but...
that
was always cringy.
That first TikTok was that was back when you could say the word OnlyFans or put it in your caption or tag it.
Now these days, if you hold up an image that they don't like, they're like,
I think I had us on the couch. I think this is what it is. I the selfie, me, then you, and I was like, should we make a new video of us together? And then it like flashed over to like a couple of professional photographs of us, like 2 of him, 2 of me, and it was just like something sexy, just like, we're gonna make a new video together, and it got like 20,000 views at that time in August 2020, and it brought us in like 400 new followers, like overnight. And so that was a big thing, like back then to gain 400 OnlyFans followers overnight
in 2020. Yeah,
100%,
and then just to grow from there. It was wild to watch.
It's funny. We just became, I don't know if you've watched our TikToks, but we are like, we try to do other stuff, but people only like when we lip sync. We are lip sync
because it's
queens.
so cute.
Yeah.
It's so cute, and we see you guys
crazy.
play characters. It's really, really cute. But I want to know, what kind of conversation did you have together when you're like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this? Did you set up like ground rules and guidelines, or you're just like, I mean, how did you even know how to film your first?
Was fresh.
So he came to me more or less. He already had one sort of started, and it was
talking
like,
about like when we started.
It was like,
Yeah,
it was
as a couple, like, and maybe you can chime in on this too. Like when you first film with somebody that.
when he showed me what he initially he started a page without telling me at first, and then he was like,
He didn't tell you?
Well, no. I mean, it was just like
we weren't dating yet.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he showed me his initial videos, and it was him like cooking naked. And,
That's so sexy and
but
cute.
no, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
Oh.
And
It
I'm
wasn't very sexy.
Was it cringe?
And I was like, if we're gonna do this, we're not gonna do this.
You're like Mr. Director, like Cecil B. DeMille walked in.
The marketing director comes in and says,
we honestly.
But cooking naked is so cute, and fans like that kind of stuff.
Well, I thought
too.
that was gonna be my vibe. So
What were you cooking?
we
Maybe
were,
it was what
but
you were
we were
cooking.
living in a studio, and the kitchen wasn't cute, and it just wasn't the
It's
vibe.
all about the setting.
It
It's all
wasn't
about
the
shot,
vibe.
you
Yeah,
know?
it was.
It was like a DiGiorno that he's putting in the
It
oven.
looked like it was a hostage situation.
well, like I said, we met in a threesome, and then I broke up that, and then we started shortly after. So when we started dating, I was like, I really want to start an OnlyFans. I want to tell you, since we're newly dating or talking, this is something I wanted to do as a little side hustle. And then he was like, well, I've always wanted to start one too, but I was always really worried about the guy that I would date would judge me for it. I was like, well, if we're dating, I'm not going to judge you for it. So let's just start one. So we started separate pages. That's kind of how it started.
We only had separate pages for like 2 or 3 months.
And
so.
did you go right into hardcore, or did you do the tease?
That's the
stuff?
problem, is that we did go right into hardcore because
But no.
He
You
also moved in. He moved in a month and a half after we started. We moved very fast.
And then it was COVID.
Yeah. So we started dating in August. I asked him to be my boyfriend October 3rd. He moved in
So
November.
you're lesbians. Okay,
Yes.
got
He
it.
moved in November 1st.
but long term lesbian.
He moved in November 1st in my studio. Then March was COVID.
And then we were stuck in that studio for 2 years.
Okay,
And
I've seen you all fight in a huge house. I can't imagine.
we had
in
a blast.
studio.
No, but we honestly had an amazing
That's
time.
how you know.
so
if a
much fun.
relationship can last through COVID, through traveling or filming a reality show, then you guys are.
Yeah.
COVID in a studio, we had so much fun. We had
Do you
so much
think
fun.
that you would have made more money in the long run? And we know you guys are doing fine now, but if you wouldn't have gone to hardcore right away, because well, I'm telling you guys.
I can't honestly, I can't answer. I don't know. I really don't know.
I think that the art of the tease, what do they call it on the House of Heat show? The people who only do
Implied,
like
implied,
the
yeah.
implied. That is
We're going to talk about that.
That
because
doesn't work
fans-
for gay men. I'm sorry.
That's a luxury
it
of
does
straight people
not
and gay
work.
You have to have a very
boys.
specific
Yeah.
following and a very specific look.
But that's the one
Straight
thing we
girls
learned
can
from
get it.
Steph is like we do our lives that way now. Because we do our lives and we make them like pay pretty much for us to strip. And we did not ever think of that until Steph brought it to our attention.
This is the difference I saw in your social media and your platforms, because I had to do research for the show, of course, 2 years ago. But
you
I noticed
foresaw
now-
following us for that long?
the foreshadowing.
research, I'm psychic. I'm like, I knew they're going to be on the show. But you guys now know the art of the game and how to funnel to the OnlyFans. We know OnlyFans is the result, and your fans do get that result. There's so many people out there that just tease on OnlyFans, and then you do the pay-per-view from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And then, you don't get anything, and it makes them mad. But you guys, your fans are on the rise
Yeah.
through this. But I wonder if you
Yes, we've had over 30,000 very happy fans. I will say that.
How did your relationship with your family and friends change after OnlyFans? And maybe you could talk about this too when you started doing adult stuff, because here's the thing. There was a stigma before we went into COVID that, I bet they're going to end up doing an OnlyFans. Those same people were begging people to join their OnlyFans for $2.99 a month, because we know OnlyFans save people for paying the rent, eating food, and all that. And it's like, well, make money however you want. There was a stigma. That stigma's gone now. We have celebrities on OnlyFans.
Mhm.
We have Olympians on OnlyFans. That was a huge headline.
Yeah.
The British team, 4 of the guys are on OnlyFans, and there's no stigma now around it.
Yeah.
Well, Dakota, how long have you had your OnlyFans?
I currently shut my OnlyFans down, but
Oh,
for
okay.
me,
But
when
for the adult industry,
when I had it all up, and I did tell my dad about it, it was a moment of like, here's this thing I'm doing to sustain myself, and I'm able to live in Hollywood because of it. And so I think he came at it with a level of, and my dad was like a bodybuilder and stuff growing up, so I think he appreciates the art of like,
what's his phone number?
No, if I showed you a picture of him, that'd be another story. But at the time, I think he could respect that I was doing something, with the gifts that I got or had.
You are very gifted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's clearly seen all your videos.
Honestly, I never
Research, guys.
And they're out there.
Honestly, I never got to the point where I even told my family. They're nosy enough that they probably figure it out on themselves. And I mean, obviously now, my family is a group of people who push things under the rug and smile, and which is fine. But also, I'm the baby in the family, but I'm also kind of like run the show. So they all just accept what I do because they trust my decisions, and they don't question.
You're not coming them asking for money to pay rent.
Yeah.
Also.
But also, I do treat them very well when it comes to like Christmas time and that sort of stuff. So they just smile and say congrats, and that's pretty much how it goes with my side.
I will say, until the show, it was not talked about though with his family, like what exactly was going on. I have had conversations with my younger siblings are not Mormon anymore. My younger sister and my stepbrother.
How many siblings do you have?
Oh God, that's a whole nother
You
story.
Mormons and
That's a
your
whole nother story.
He has 5.
Because my mom,
that's
my
Mormons.
mom in her 20s left the church. She had me out of wedlock. So I have I have half sisters. I have half sisters.
God.
This whole so let's just
Tubi better get
I
into
know.
some HBO programming right
there's
now.
there's a whole
That's
dynamic.
like a series in that.
There's
That's
2 half
amazing.
sisters, a
You're
half
not
sister, stepbrother.
I was born out of
stepsister.
wedlock too.
You're not getting your own planet.
I'm not
getting John Travolta's
going to the
next movie.
celestial kingdom.
Is that what you'll get? Is Mormons?
You get your own
If
planet.
you are the
That's why.
if you are the most righteous
I
of the
want a planet.
righteous, you become
No.
Jesus and you get your own planet.
But you don't want it because you're only with your family. I'd be like, oh my God.
They don't tell you that you're there alone, though.
But I told my sister and my stepbrother like years ago. They were so supportive.
Sumner, where's your
And
book?
so-
Where's your biography?
I know. I'll write one.
Yeah.
We'll use ChatGPT to write it, though.
You said how your dad is in bodybuilding. My stepmom has been in physical fitness for the last 20 years. She owns her own gym now. She's competed in a couple body competitions, but her big thing is like physical fitness. So like anytime when we started dating and she'd see us in underwear, like physique, she can just appreciate it
That's
so
all
much.
that matters. Yeah.
So she was so appreciative of just like what it takes to like look a certain way. So when I told her that was her thing, and then my dad was just like, "Oh, let's talk about the taxes. Like, so like, how are you paying taxes? Blah blah blah." So his
Which
whole
is so
thing,
important. Content creators don't understand. You have to be as smart as the business side as you are on the other
Yeah,
side.
he was.
Your
he just-
marketing, your
He
finance,
just wanted
your
to know like
everything.
that we're like filing correctly. I was like, babe, or not babe.
Babe,
Sorry,
you gotta
babe,
stop,
babe.
babe.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. That'll be on.
Not dad,
on
daddy.
I've seen
I was
that
like,
porn.
dad. I was
Father.
like, dad. I was like, dad. We are both incorporated. Like, we are handling it. We like it was such a cool conversation to have that like it wasn't about the content. It was about the business side of it, and that they could appreciate all of that. And then the same thing with you, that they see that we're living a happy life, that we get to travel, that we're doing all these things, that they look at our like Instagram or Facebook and they see all these things that we're doing with our life, and they're just happy that we're living our life.
And if they
That
were
is the
younger,
most important thing
I
to
bet you
them.
they would have done it too. If they had the opportunity to show off their hot fucking bods, they'd be banging
Right.
each other out.
I mean,
on
I would say
OnlyFans
my
as well.
stepmom still looks. She is
She could probably
gorgeous.
get.
She does.
She probably thought
She
about
is
it.
gorgeous.
The thing, we had this conversation the other day.
But
is,
yes, to that.
you know, like my small town, everyone knows everyone. Like everyone has like there's like 30 last names in the whole town, so everyone knows who everyone is. You know, I left at top of my class, whatever, and the idea of telling people in my town and them knowing that I do porn was like horrific, and I thought I was gonna get so much hate. But the small town mindset that it came out when I was on TV, they're like also supportive. Like, oh well, he's doing porn, but he's on TV.
You're a
He's
star,
on
baby.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll post it on Facebook, which is where like I'm friends with like most of the people from my hometown. Nothing but like applause and like everyone. People are coming out of the woodwork that I haven't talked to in years, saying how much they like the show.
It's like once you're on TV, they don't care.
But if this would have
Okay.
That's
this would have
just it.
came out without the show,
You'll come
I
back,
would have
they'll
got
give you a key
hate.
to the city.
Yeah, I would have got hate and everything else if
Yeah.
this came out without the show. So it's very interesting.
Okay.
Now you're a really good talking point for all the people from your small town.
Yeah, they're all probably going.
They're probably all now like, I'm going to start OnlyFans too. I'm going to churn butter on mine. I don't know. Okay, we're going to get a little bit deeper. We did get...
you got some fan questions right there.
I mean, look, I have pages of it.
I want to hear them all.
Wow.
This one's actually from me in a way too. Your brand is clearly Koaty and Sumner. Sumner and Koaty. That's how you're introduced. You guys do the interviews together. That's the headlines. That's everything. And you could talk about this too. It's Dakota Payne, adults, and you have this this artist life and this drag life, and
yeah. But I always wanted what you guys have, this sort of, because when you have a relationship, you get to invite people in, and that's where it's at, And
it's so much easier to you need a collab that week. You just have sex with each other.
Exactly.
You tape it and you post it.
But here's my question as well. The brand is so solidified. How do you keep your personal identity? And you have to be your personal self. You need your personal time. You need your personal likes and interest and things like that. You have to be individuals to create a strong brand.
Yeah.
How do you maintain your individuality with this? How do you maintain your mental health as a person that's part of this and not be overcome by the brand?
So
I feel like that's 3 or 4 different questions.
No, but here I have a good answer.
I'll sit back and sit.
Okay.
So, we did, when this all happened, Sumner left his job to kind of manage it all, and I kept my engineering career. And over time, we realized it was all of his successes were tied to me, because all the money he was making was ours together, where I still had my engineering career, which is when people ask me why I don't do studio. He has his studio work now. That's his.
We got a lot of questions.
He has his, and men.com, we just went to a social and they asked when I'm coming, and it's just I want that to be his thing. That's the one thing he has that's his. And then I have my engineering job, and that's why I haven't left it yet. And that gives us the individuality that we need to kind of have a clear mind and still be ourselves, where, 90% of our income and our work is together.
Yeah.
But even having that small piece of ourselves that's just ours is really, really important. And we learned that in the last few years, for sure. You have anything to say?
Oh, I was just listening.
I'm looking for your response. And this is what I'm talking
There
about.
was 4 questions in there. So what is can we
basically, how do you make it work? What's the day-to-day of it? Right?
Well, no, but also keeping your individual self, because you guys came together as individuals. That's what makes it work. How do you not just succumb to the persona? The persona Dakota Payne, that's not really who you are. Even Gemini is not really who you are.
I like to keep my private life private.
I think, I guess to speak on that is I would say actually more so than anyone on the show are presenting a real relationship where we expose everything that we're doing.
That is very true.
But episode 6 and 7, I believe,
yes,
we saw the need that you guys needed your time to yourself as well, and there was some friction there. He went to film a studio scene, and there was thoughts.
Yes, but I think the most of healthiest relationships are going to have friction. The most of healthiest relationships are going to fight. They're going to feel insecure. They're going to be needy. All of that is going to transpose. So that was not because of what we're doing. That is just because we are in a real relationship, and that is because we are showing a real relationship. And so if we came into that house and just hid all of that from the audience,
which that
would be so inauthentic. And I'm not saying that we didn't fight because we were on camera. We fought because we had a rough week.
Yeah.
I made a big mistake. And I'm not proud of what happened, but it happened. And you can't surmise our entire 5-year relationship to a 10-second moment.
And it's not about what has happened. It's about what you learn from it and how you move forward and how you react and how you communicate.
You guys quickly made up and then communicated.
We are very quick to heal and to communicate because we're fucking adults. And we've been through a lot of shit already, and that's just how we work. And if anyone looks at it negatively in a negative light,
I don't think anybody did, by the way. Because relationships do that.
If anything,
plus, you guys have been drinking all day.
Yeah.
You guys were in a house with all these strangers.
And with the porn stuff too,
Yes,
everyone puts the word jealousy into such a negative light. And, jealousy can be very toxic and be very disruptive in a relationship. But you need a little bit of jealousy in your relationship because you need to make sure that your partner feels wanted.
Say that again to the back row.
You need a little jealousy in your relationship because you need to make sure that your partner feels wanted.
I don't know if you knew, but you did that on a patter. Somebody's going to remix that and make it like a little... You guys should remix that. No. But that is
feels
right.
Wanted. Feels wanted.
Like unwarranted jealousy or jealousy that's all the time. I felt Ava and Vinny. I thought
I didn't even know his name. Was he asleep?
I think there's a difference between jealousy and envy. I think that
you should see our YouTube on that.
Vinny displayed a lot of envy. It's not about that Ava took attention away from him. He was he was envious of the attention and camaraderie and profit that Ava makes outside of him. That is
We're not talking
envy.
about them yet. We're talking about you. 'Cause we're going to get to them.
Who are they?
But I think that's a really smart point. Jealousy means that you love the other person and you want their affection and their time. And sometimes when they pull away from you, it's that. But it's not unwarranted jealousy. And it's not jealousy all the time. You're not jealous that he's filming studio porn.
Not at all.
You're jealous if
Looks
he pulls
exhausting.
away a little bit.
Literally.
It is exhausting. Well, you know.
Yeah.
How many hours a day is it?
That was fresh.
Yeah, and for me, jealousy is sort of like it's something that comes up, and you have to like use the skills that you've learned to unlearn to talk yourself off of it because it's the natural reaction, and you have to be like, oh, here's why I'm not.
We've learned to turn it into something that is like hot and a turn on for us, honestly.
Yeah, oh, like you got fucked today,
Like,
huh? You got a load in that
You're
ass.
so hot.
We like to
Tell me all about it.
We like to watch
detail.
That's
too.
hot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. We're going to have one more deep question, and then the rest of it is House of Heat because we've got to get to these fan questions. In addition to the adult content, we've talked about how you've bumped up your game on TikTok, on Instagram, with these daily videos, these lip syncs, and these skits and everything that are so fun. But you guys are filming. You guys are coming up with the ideas. You guys are editing. You guys are doing everything. That has to be exhausting from an influencer point of view. There's not a day off. There's no vacation because your audience is like, and then you take a week off. Your audience is like, there's somebody else that I'm looking at. There's this pressure and it has to be exhausting. How do you keep that spark in the content that you're doing to make the lip syncs fun, to make the creative process fun, to make the editing fun? How do you keep that spark alive? And how do you...
And I would assume that it helps that there's two of you because one of you gets to be like, I'm the producer, I'm the director, I'm going to edit. And you're like, I'm going to dress this. And,
Yeah,
you know,
I will
kind
tell
of
you
like
what. I will tell you what. This is a problem that we did go through for a while. Even before the show, for like a month, we didn't even come up with I couldn't come up with a reel or a TikTok or anything to like inspire or be funny. And we got in the show, and for some reason, him and I just finally sat down, and I don't know why we didn't do this years ago, and we officially divided the work. And trying to both doing all of it together, we divided it. He does long form content. He does our long YouTubes and our podcasts and our OnlyFans video editing. I do our shorts, our Instagram posts, our photos. And once we did that, it is so easy. I can literally come up with a reel in 5 seconds. I literally posted one on the way here in the cab. Uber. What? How old am I?
Oh my God. In a taxi. Cabs here.
It was a lift.
But that is so important. And a lot of influencers, content creators don't realize you have to run it as a business first.
Yes.
You do. And so having job duties, it's not a bad thing. It's not like, we're just posting it for fun. No, it's a business and everything that you do equals money.
Yeah. And if you do follow us, you know I post a reel every single goddamn day.
So what happens when you guys get fatigue? Because it has
It's
to
called
happen.
fatigue for us.
Fatigue.
I sleep. No, it does happen. And if there are days I wake up and we know we have to post a certain amount of stuff, we got stuff in the vault, as long as I can do the willpower to get on my phone and post what I need to post that day.
But even that obligation is tiring. Like, if you guys just want to sleep in bed all day and watch Judge Judy all day and eat Panda Express.
I can post from bed though. We have a backlog of OnlyFans content probably for like 2 or 3 months. So
I would say longer than that.
Longer than that, maybe. But we keep a backlog. So like there are days actually
that you have off.
where we're a little hungover. We went out the night before, whatever. We can literally like this last 2 weeks has been great. We wake up, we're watching Olympics, gymnastics, or diving or swimming.
We love
we're watching
it.
Olympics.
Love.
At the same time, we are sitting next to each other being like, hey babe, I just posted this. Hey babe, I'm gonna post this. Like we're still posting. We can sit there, and that's what we can afford to do is that we can sit there and we can lay in bed and we can watch gymnastics and relax, but also still be posting.
But
because we have a
my
backlog.
point, though, is still be posting.
Yeah.
Like a day off.
But
where
I
you're
don't
just paying
mind that.
attention.
I don't
Okay.
mind that.
But you have instant affirmation. You have like is this good? So much of, for me, of creativity is like going around to the people close to me and being like, hey, look at what I did,
Yeah.
So you have that.
I will say,
I don't mind if I can lie in bed and we can just sit there together next to each other, watching TV, watching whatever we're watching, and just be posting. I know what he's doing. He knows what I'm doing. We both have our separate roles at this point that we know, like, I'm working on the YouTube stuff. He's working on the Instagram stuff. Like, it doesn't take away from our time to get, like, in that moment. Like, it's 9 a.m. We're just lying in bed. Like, I'm not like, we have to be talking. We have to be cuddling. It's like, no, like, we're sitting here. We know we're working. We know we're we're working towards a better future by posting whatever we're posting, like it's easy because we have such a backlog.
I will say I have this white book, and you can ask Steph. It's in the first episode when she's talking about the live, and you see my little book of notes. I live by that notebook. It literally, I put every day what needs to be done. Yeah. I'm a big list maker.
That gives me anxiety.
When I get to cross something off a list, I love that. I literally come in my pants. It's like, yes.
Which you don't see on the show.
Somebody give them a list and a pen.
every Monday on that show, and they filmed us and they don't show it, is Cody and I had an hour-long meeting in the living room. We would map out our entire week. How many reels do we need to make this week? What YouTube are we making this week? What OnlyFans? What collab are we doing? They didn't show any of that.
No, because we wanted to see Ava yell.
So I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping ahead.
We're going to market days.
What I have to say is I think you as a couple and Ava and Vinny as a couple, we got to see that process. Even though there was a lot of drama, we got to see, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we improve views and all that. Like, I thought you guys were the most structured of what we saw.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and we were.
That being said, fans, we still, we're going to have to do a part 2. But let's get into House of Heat. How did you get approached to do the show, and what made you say yes?
So we were actually at, I think it was a Sunday fun day, maybe High Tops.
You were drunk?
Or a pool party.
It was a pool party in the
I went to Penn State. You know, Penn State's kind of gay friendly, but there was not a lot of gays there. But I made a friend. He actually came up. He lives in WeHo as well now. He came up to us.
What's his number?
He's also actually a Bravo gay. I don't really know exactly.
Hey, Steven.
He has like a
Stefan or Steven?
His name's Steve Krugel. But you know, he'll love the exposure.
Like looking him up now.
He's the best. He literally was like, I have a friend.
We owe a lot to him.
He's like in episodes of Housewives and whatever. And he's like, I have a friend casting for a show for OnlyFans, and they want a gay couple. And I thought of you guys. And literally, he gave our name to someone. They contacted us. We did the whole casting thing, and we ended up getting on. We still need to send him flowers.
Well, let's just say this was October of 2023, and then we didn't hear back from the company until January 2024.
This is what happens in reality TV. What people don't understand is that sometimes
it was months. We just assumed we didn't get it.
We heard like a week and a half before we had to move in the house that we were on the show. We had to clear our schedules.
What was the audition process like?
Just Zoom, just talking to people over Zoom, just about our
kind of like what's happening now.
Yeah,
and we really just little conversation.
We really didn't even know. We really didn't even know what was going on, and like after we did the audition, we were like, "Damn, I wish we would have been more prepared. We didn't think we gave our best selves." But then later,
I think that they want that from you. They want that surprise factor, because if you come in too structured, and I think some of the cast members came into the house like, I'm going to do this.
Self-producing.
Jade.
It was very much just like it was very much like what's happening now. We just like had a conversation. You know, we just like hung out. It was filmed. It was taped. It was an hour-long conversation. And then that was October, and we didn't hear anything until January. And all of a sudden, the owner of the production company was like, "Hey, I want to meet with you." And we're like, "Oh." Okay, we just assumed we didn't get it.
We had a nice lunch at Soho House, and then it was in.
And it could be anybody. Trump would be like, "Do you want to have lunch at Soho House?" We're like, "Fine, let me hear what you have to say."
Okay.
They have the best shrimp ever. What made you say yes to doing the show, though? Was there any trepidation? And you've done reality TV. You know how they can edit you. They can do whatever they want with you. Was there any trepidation that you were like...
I think we're very confident in who we are as people, so I don't think that ever was a worry for us. I think the main thing is when you're on OnlyFans, especially as long as us, you do get to a plateau, and it's all OnlyFans don't advertise you, so it's all about advertising yourself. Yes. And this was the next step for us, and we knew we had to do it.
Isn't it weird for a company to make millions and millions and millions of dollars
and do no marketing?
Yeah,
but we are on OFTV now, so that has helped massively. Which also something we learned from Steph. You know, they don't give Steph as much credit as she deserves.
She kind of became the villain towards the end.
I will tell you what. Not in our opinion.
No, not in your opinion.
But
I'm talking about how the finale was structured.
Yeah,
and for those that haven't seen it, you can watch all the episodes and you'll know what we're talking about. Go to the finale. The drama. We think the finale is going to be the sweet goodbye because every time it's a good time.
We thought so too.
Last 10 minutes, it's like.
We thought so too. And
I didn't know she was going to do that.
She texted me before she came up. She goes, "I'm walking up the hill. I didn't take my Xanax this morning."
Yeah, she's like, "I didn't take Xanax this morning. Just you wait." And I was like, "What does that mean? Because I don't know what you're doing."
And I just wanted to go the hell home.
She took an Uber from the bottom of the hill to the up of the hill just so she could walk out of it on
hear me
camera.
in the video right before she comes in. I was like, "I'm not going to wait for everybody. I'm going to leave."
Did you notice she didn't
Somebody
even
was doing the wash? By the way,
Also,
it's like, go home.
Honestly, she didn't even. It's technically our house. She knocked on the door. We had to answer it. Like, we had to let her in. She's like,
All right. I need to hear what you think about House of Heat now.
No. We have so many questions, but I want to
Oh,
know
God.
what made you say yes to doing reality TV, because you kind of didn't need to do it, but you did it.
Oh, sure. No, it was fun for me. I didn't know because I did this like Vanjie 24 Hours Love Show
With
that
Brandon, by the way.
was
I
on.
did not know that.
I had
He
a
did not
much
talk
different
about that.
experience.
Explain what that was.
I watched the show and I still didn't know that Brandon was on
If you
the
go
show.
and watch that show, you'll see why Brandon was the way he was on this show. It makes a lot of sense to me.
You know what's interesting?
Experiencing him in that venue.
No, but
seeing-
like, what was the preface of that show?
we had 24 hours. We didn't get to sleep at all, and we were all just vying for Miss Vanjie's heart. And hour
Oh,
by
was he
hour,
trying to date Miss Vanjie?
All of us were trying.
Where you
to.
were?
But we didn't know
dating
going
thing.
into it that we were like going for Miss Vanjie, and so 24 hours. All of us are like, "Oh, I'd fuck her." No, maybe.
Oh my God.
But Brandon was there. Brandon
She
was
looks
a bit messy, but
good.
She looks.
Why did he not tell us that? I wonder.
Gemini.
Go watch the experience.
You know what's
It
funny?
makes a lot of
You know what's
sense.
funny is, obviously going into the house, we didn't know anybody because most of them were girls and Brandon was newer. So we didn't know who any of them were. And never did Brandon say he knew that we were before he walked in. But Steph has told us that he said he
I
knew
just told you,
exactly
that's not
who.
true.
Yeah.
Wait, I like how you know that.
Okay,
Why
we're
have
not
we not
there
been
yet.
told?
We're
We're not
gonna,
there
we're
yet.
gonna do
We're-
a cast review. I want to know more about your
we're so bad
I
at
can't wait
skipping
for the
ahead.
cast.
We're gonna
so bad
get
at skipping
there.
ahead. We're so bad at skipping ahead.
Yes,
I have
Tubi's
shit
actually
to
here
say.
watching, and she's like sweating bullets. She's like, "What's happening?" No. Oh God. How long was the actual taping? Like, how many weeks?
9 weeks.
Was it?
Almost 9 weeks.
That's crazy.
That's a
9
long
weeks.
time.
You guys-
Most reality shows are 4 to 6.
4 to 5.
max.
And it
Yeah.
usually takes 6 months to edit the whole show and
Yeah.
literally the entire experience from the start till the last episode was
let's
6
just- let's
I have
months.
to say,
say-
this show is one of the best edited because the audience gets to see what it's not a bunch of rehash. It's not a bunch of that. We get to the substance, but it's so well edited.
Mhm.
So I just have to say, if you don't know Tubi, go to Tubi.
So yeah, let's just say you have 2,000 hours worth of footage summed up into 30-minute episodes, 40 minutes. Like, there's a lot.
You
There's
missed the
lot.
bowling night we had. You missed the yacht. We were on a yacht one day. You missed all that.
So I got this question. This is such a weird question. And I would just get the question from the email and then like, how many bathrooms were there? That's literally all I got.
There's somebody. There must have been your safe space was the closet. Every time something was going on, there was
Wait,
like,
you didn't see that there was
I have
like
to
6
feel
of
that
us.
there's
Wait,
not
give me a
many
second. I fucking loved that goddamn closet.
Yeah, you did.
That closet. I moved back home and I go, this closet sucks. We need to move.
Yes.
Sponsored by Closet Organizers.
No, the producers and production assistants would come
Our
in and be like,
closet's the same
this,
size.
they were all like, this is the most organized closet I've ever seen.
The
I was like,
Those closets did not look very stable. though. We
Welcome
saw
to my
hangers
life.
falling down, and I don't know.
oh, that was.
But the bathrooms,
the
we
girls.
never saw one bathroom.
No.
And usually, like
No.
MTV has the bathroom where they're all like, getting together.
The discussion with Fosh and Brandon and me and Sumner and Steph, that was in our bathroom. So we shared
You
a
had
bathroom.
your own bathroom.
No, we shared a bathroom with Fosh and Brandon. Fosh
No,
and Brandon.
4 people should not be sharing
No,
a bathroom.
and Steph. There was
That's why
5 of us.
Fosh left. She was like,
6.
There was 3.
It's a mansion
it
you
was
guys were in.
6 and then 4 upstairs.
2.5 baths, but then there was a whole part of the house that was only production. So they had
the PAC,
production gets a whole section of the
I
house.
was in a relationship for 8.5 years, and we had 2 separate bathrooms for the whole relationship. There's no way I'm going to share a bathroom with 5 other people.
We have a double sink bathroom, and Sumner still stands in the center.
Aw.
Happy Valentine's.
I need room.
Okay, what was a typical day in the house? Because we got to see some of the action, but so learning that you guys had like this business plan and all that, what was a typical day? Because people were coming and going.
You'd wake up at like 8 or 9, and most of the guys would go to the gym. They'd like to have us mic'd by like 9 or 10, depending. And then you'd give them your schedules for the week. So if they had things planned for us, they'd work around it, or, there wasn't, from what I've heard, this is my first time on a reality show, but, there wasn't as much cameramen as there usually is. So, they had to work around like everyone's schedules all the time.
Could have surprised me. We saw everything.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of cameras in the house for sure. I do really like how they start each transition to a scene to do all the house. Like it's 4 squares and then they zoom into one. Like that was
It's
like
so
cool.
well edited. How did they do that fast?
Yeah, it was cool. But, a lot there were, as you saw, like, with Chase and Jade, they kind of like separate it from the group. So all the rest of us, we would try to be together and learn about each other,
Wasn't that the
especially
point
in the
of the
initial
show?
weeks. I mean, you even see an episode of Fosh where she's like, we probably didn't even see Fosh that first week. She literally was just in her, it was crazy. So we didn't know who she was. So it was everything that we would say about her was just assumptions because we don't know you. And then when that episode when she's like, I have no friends, it's like, you haven't left your bedroom. Like, how are you supposed to have a friend?
If you would have told me that the gay couple was going to be the most on camera with the straight couple, I'd have been like, no, they're going to have like these fights and all that. And we saw most from you
We
guys.
bonded with them the quickest. And I don't know if it's because I'm from I lived in Philadelphia for 10 years. Like, they're Jersey, you know, that was kind of like our stick at first. Like, I have a lot of friends from Jersey from living in Philadelphia a lot. And I think their accents and their attitude was very.
You heard her right when we got out of the car. She's like, "Oh, it's a gay couple, and they're cute."
Yeah, but Ava,
we know Ava loves her gays.
Yeah, the gays love Ava
because they're giving her what she's not getting from Vinny.
We took
drama.
We took Ava out with us actually in WeHo, and our Gen Z gay friends were like, "Oh my god, is she on the show with you? Is she your friend? She's crazy."
The gays love her. That's what she feeds. She likes that attention.
I would see Ava's for Halloween.
We're not getting to cast descriptions yet. We're talking about you. What did you learn first off in the first few days of filming that you're like, oh shit, this is intense, or something that you were like not prepared for?
I think dealing with God, I don't even like to fucking give him any attention. Chase, like dealing with him, like
okay, let's just get to this
nightmare.
I got a question over and over. What the hell was Chase even doing there? You can see it's even printed.
That was fresh.
So you like from what they show, it might seem like Chase like was just there innocently. Like he
was not.
He disappeared so much and had so much attitude towards everyone in the
promo
cast.
gifts sent there.
People think that we just were bullying him and stuff, but we literally were a stop, like a grocery store stop for him. I know you two more than I know him.
And then, people.
But I think fans think the same thing. He wasn't even giving the fans or the camera.
I don't know. I mean, no.
What the hell was he doing there?
I feel like some people have criticized Ava for being like, "Oh, she's bullying or she stole his stuff."
She did go a little overboard, but she was drinking.
But the thing is, I was like, she's lucky she was right.
No, she didn't because there was so much. Like I said, we're filmed 200 hours a week. You saw 40 minutes of it. He was douchebag. Like 99% of the time to everyone.
He came on
his,
I could smell it. I was like, I don't like this guy. He's here for clout. He's
Audience
here to
felt
try
it,
to grow his
but I
audience.
could see
and then he brought all this stuff like monster drinks or whatever. He brought this little like
I don't
tequila
want your
bottle.
giveaways.
Like all these giveaways.
His mom wouldn't let him keep them in the garage.
He brought these giveaways, and then people were like, "Oh, Ava stole his giveaways." It was like they were giveaways; they weren't
free.
his.
He didn't want
they
them.
were something that he gave away for free.
We knew from
and
minute
then
one
decided
that
to
he
leave.
was not into it. He just was not into it.
He
It's
wasn't
like,
there.
What the hell was he doing?
And then the moment that y'all had, I'm like you. Like if he would have talked to me like that, I would have like a switch would have happened, and I would have started the biggest fight. And I would have been like, "Fucking hit me!" So you
He
can
didn't
get your
want
homophobia
I am
out.
upset that Ava chimed in when I was trying to talk to him
No,
because I
no, no,
was
no.
that was my one moment I was trying to talk to him and be level headed, and then Ava just.
But he called him
chimed
man,
in.
and he never talked. He's
I
like,
know,
I was just wondering where your head's at, man. I was like,
Sumner, a lot of people interjected when you were starting, and we're talking about all the cast members.
Me too.
Took over. Well, we know that episode, but we know
PTSD.
I was angry.
For good
But
reasons.
you let that kind of happen.
Did I?
No, you were triggered because when a straight man treats you like that and you're in that environment, he's pulling this machismo bullshit. Is the second like you like are trying to and you get up and he does that shit, like I'm like you, where it's like all of this suppressed whatever from your small town comes out and it's like, you want to hit me? You want to hit a faggot? Hit this faggot.
I did. You hear me? I'm like, just hit me then, because
do it.
either way,
it was fucking beat my ass
It was a
then.
win-win for me because if I come at you and you just like don't do anything, fine. You look like a douchebag. If you come at me and then you hit me, then
Wait,
you
but I will
also look like a
say,
douchebag.
everyone's like, oh, what Sumner stood up. You stood up, but if you watch that episode back, he is the one that lunged at you. You only stood
lunged at
up.
me.
It was probably the only thing he put out energy into the whole
The
season,
biggest
by the
thing
way.
that pisses me off is the like 7th time him and Jade left the house in the car, and he's like,
That's so dumb.
I actually like Cody and Sumner, but
Wait a minute.
they won't listen to me to make money. Bitch, we make way more than you do in OnlyFans. If you're live, you made $400.
Okay, let's
Come
back
on.
it up because
Teasing.
let's back it up
Your
because we're
flat
talking
ass.
about them.
I'm gonna take 26-year-old
Let's
giving
take
me
a step back because we're talking about them
advice.
and we're still talking about you guys.
All right, let's talk about us.
I'm
Because
getting,
I
I'm
have
getting
this
fired
later.
up.
Is to, no, I know,
horrible.
but like
We have an agenda.
you guys are the focus.
The gauge.
Sorry.
What do you think the mission of House of Heat was? So I'll be honest. I was like, when I saw the title, I was like, "Ugh, we're going to watch a bunch of privileged OnlyFans show us how famous and how luxurious it is. I thought it was going to be a cheap knockoff of Real Housewives, and it was not.
No.
What do you think the mission of House of Heat is?
Well,
What do you think audiences?
it was proposed to us as it showing how hard we work as OnlyFans creators. How it's not just, oh, we're doing this because it's easy money. It is not easy money. It is, there are people that are doing it because they think it's easy money. But him and I, like, I'm 36. I've had an entire engineering career.
You never give your age.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. I look good at 36. But still, we take this seriously. This is a career for us, and we like doing it. And we want to show people why we like doing it and how we do it and how we have made it a business. And it's not just us going out fucking people. Yeah. And, I think a little bit of that was lost because there was so much drama. They only had so much time to put everything in. But that's why we hope there's a season 2, and we hope that we're back, because I think now
focuses more on the removal of stigma.
We can start showing more of that now that, like, we've all been introduced and, whatever else. But I don't know. It's just, I think it lost that a little bit, but in 8, 9, and 10, I think 8, 9, and 10, in my opinion, is the show that we were like proposed. Like, I love episode 8, 9, and 10. They're showing our work. It's showing what we're doing, but there is drama. I think the last 3 episodes were perfection, honestly.
Yeah. Sumner, what do you think the mission of House of Heat?
The mission of House of Heat was to peel back the curtain. Like, that's how it was presented to us, was that we want to show what you guys do business wise. And that's what we came into it wanting to present. I think that's why you see those first few episodes, when the drama's all happening, we're kind of on the back burner. I think there were a couple comments of oh, they're not memorable. I was like, no, that's because we're sitting here trying to work.
In the first few episodes, people are coming and going. It's like, okay, let's trim the fat.
That's when you're trying to get to know everybody.
Yeah, let's get who wants to be in this house, who wants to create, who wants to do this goddamn show.
Yeah, and Koaty and I, we were making reels, probably 2 reels every day. We were making 2 YouTubes a week. We were making an OnlyFans video a week. We were setting up collabs to OnlyFans a week. I had photo shoots.
Hi, Reese Rideout.
I had with Reese Rideout. I had my own studio stuff.
Such a good collab.
Once a week. There's so much going on, and I think it just got lost in the drama, which is fine because the drama is so entertaining. But I think that was the purpose of House of Heat, and I've looked at the comments and things that people are saying online. No. I'm looking at the comments of what people are saying online. They're like, this drama is so crazy, but they're like, I would like to see a little more business.
Which is what we were giving.
That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be.
I think they touched on the business, but for me, it was the vulnerability of the drama. It got to the heart of the issue, which is what is it like to be in a relationship and be a content creator? What is it like to put yourself out there in these fights?
I love that we got to show that. We got to be we're in a relationship. This is
jealousy
real.
Is real. Yeah.
We are not only in a relationship, we have an extra layer to our relationship which is us in business, and 99% of relationships don't know what that's like.
Absolutely.
And they will never know what that's like.
And a lot of relationships that get into social media, just social media, or OnlyFans break up in their first year. And that's the actual truth. So along
We're
that
one
line,
of the only OG left, honestly.
Along that line, Ava and Vinny, it was interesting to see the issues that they both went through as a couple, where they don't have an open relationship, and there was weirdness that happened.
He wanted to fuck that girl. What was her name? He wanted to fuck her so bad.
That hot mic moment. That hot mic moment in the laundry room with him and Kazumi. None of us knew that was going to happen, and when I saw that, I was like,
we all knew
Ava is going to freak.
And she was so mad until Kazumi came back after getting pissed on, which I wish we would have saw. But all of a sudden, the power shift in her, she was like,
you can watch all this on Tubi, by the way. For the audience, it's I don't know.
Go watch this on Tubi. It Kazumi comes in, stirs the pot, and all of a sudden is realized what she did and was like, oh my god.
I will tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Fucking
it's
high.
not like she didn't realize what she did.
We fucking love Kazumi.
I love Kazumi.
She is the baddest bitch ever.
I'm Kazumi.
I love her so much.
Okay, but let's talk about them as a couple. They went through a lot, and we saw she was so reticent about filming with anybody, and these jealousies that we talked about just went through the roof, right?
Yeah.
You were their foil, that you have open filming. I don't know if you guys have an open relationship or not, but you have an open filming where you bring people in. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about how you are the same as Ava and Vinny and how you are the most different as Ava and Vinny.
And who's the Ava and who's the Vinny? Who's like the girl that's in charge of
Oh my
Mr.
God, that's such a
Friendship?
great question.
And
Summer,
who's-
I want you to
wait,
answer this.
I think
Okay.
you're
I
more
want
of a
Summer
Vinny.
to-
Wait. Sorry. Can you say the end of that question one more time, just so I understand?
I want to know the fact that they have a closed
Right.
couple and you guys are an open couple
Okay.
on OnlyFans. There was still kind of the same conflicts that we saw. How are you the most like them? How are you the most different?
I actually don't think that we're like them at all. We compared. If you watched in episode 3, we talk about that. So they've been together for about a year and a couple months. Cody and I, we met in the threesome.
That's a fresh.
That's a fresh.
Yeah,
That's
especially
fresh.
to go on a TV show together.
And I'm sorry, we saw Vinny kind of like.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think they're very strong for like coming on a TV show a year in. We talk about the eye roll. We talk about Cody and I. We were monogamous,
It's a birth defect.
even though we met in a threesome. Even though we do OnlyFans, we decided that we were going to build our foundation over the first year. So we were monogamous.
We didn't even collab on OnlyFans till 3 years in.
We were a monogamous
I know.
relationship.
I did my research.
We were a monogamous relationship for a year. So, and then we always knew that was something that we wanted to consider. One, we do OnlyFans. One, we're gay. We both know we don't want to have sex with the same person for the rest of our lives. If you say that, you're lying. Like
It happens.
we're like,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen when it happens. We're not gonna force anything. So like, we had our first threesome about a year and like 3 months in, about the time that they have been together. So when I said that, like, you might find yourself wanting to do that sometime soon, it was like, hey, you're kind of in the same timeline as us. But I say this, we have a YouTube, we talk about this all the time. I don't want to be harped on for being open, just like I don't want to harp on anybody for being monogamous. You do whatever makes sense for your relationship.
That's 100%.
If your relationship right now, in this moment, no matter how long you've been together, makes sense to be monogamous, do that. That is great. But do not come for my relationship when we've been together for 5 years and we've decided to open to whatever extent, which is mostly to play together, and say that must mean that we don't love each other. I hate when people do that.
Honestly, too, I was the person who was like, I would never be in an open relationship. But then I met him and we had such a great foundation, so much trust and love here that it happened organically and it was fun and it became something exciting. So anytime someone says, oh no, I'll never do that, I was just like, that's fine that you think that now, but like, don't like harp on us or don't think it's not an option. Cause it's like, honestly, if you're in that zone and you're together for 10 years and like, I never want to do that, it just like comes off almost as a little bit of an insecurity that you are afraid to lose someone and you don't trust them completely. So, but like, if that's something you do have that trust and love and you don't want to open it, great. But like, sometimes the way that people kind of approach it or like state that they don't want to do it, it's like, okay, it just seems like there's something between the two of you that you need to work out before you're even allowed to talk about that. And honestly, and as soon as we became more open, like that gets rid of 70% of issues in a relationship, honestly. Like, and I think but the thing about us is we're into the same people. When we play with a third, we play together, but we're like the same build and the same height. Where it comes as like a straight couple who might be open, it's like the guy wants a girl, the girl wants a guy. It's a lot more difficult for a straight couple.
Here's what people don't realize: swinging and sharing partners in the straight community is much more than we do.
Yeah,
it's just not as talked about.
That's
like,
exactly right.
Yeah.
There's this. Yeah,
it comes with emotional maturity and realizing intimacy versus sex. And
have you heard
intimate
of the term
sex versus
compersion?
please tell me
Sounds
what the hell.
kinky.
Oh my God, you should see that YouTube
I
video. It's
love-
so
a
good.
final.
I love this
pour?
term. The term compersion.
Final pour. Final pour.
The term compersion is the ability to watch your partner get sexual pleasure from any sort of sexual act,
That's cuckolding.
even if it
Did I
doesn't.
say
No,
cuckolding?
it's not.
I said on the wrong thing.
Even if it
It's
doesn't
cuckolding.
involve you, it's not a matter of cuckolding. It's not a matter of being a cuck. It just
That's different. That's a power play.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of jealousy. So rather than watching a situation and being like, I'm jealous, it's like I'm enjoying the situation because I'm watching my partner get pleasured, whether I'm involved in that situation or not.
It's literally the opposite of jealousy.
So it's the opposite of jealousy, and
That's
I think that is a wonderful place to be in a relationship.
Yeah, it's like letting your close friends play with your toys versus like, no, that's much.
Like,
Like, you'll
literally,
never play
we
with
just-
it. It's like, just share your
if you're my
toys.
best friend, I want to watch you
want
get
you to
joy.
enjoy
from
it.
it.
That's 100%. It's almost like Buddhist. It's like, let's just relax. Everybody gets their pleasure, and we all come
Literally on
together.
Sunday,
Yes,
we
and
did
we all enjoy it.
Sunday we did a massage collab where you like ended a happy ending, and he did us one at a time, and I went first, and then when I was done,
I was so
hard.
hard.
as
Everybody's
fuck.
getting a back
It's
rub.
fun. I don't
What's
know.
wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Let's go back to House of Heat.
Okay, House of Heat, guys.
House of
House
who? House of what?
We have to wrap up. Tony has to go home to
Sorry.
his
I have
husband, by the way.
questions.
They don't have an open relationship.
Yeah.
There's this idea that influencers are not sincere people. We can read it, by the way. You know, when we see people that are clouded, we're like, oh, they're just posing for this. I want to know from your experience, who in the house was the most sincere? Who was the least sincere?
Ooh, we're about to say some names.
Dakota, what do you think?
Most sincere.
Yeah.
Or
Let's hear your
is this-
perception
or-
first.
Yeah, let's get it
No,
out.
yes.
I'll go
Outside
ahead and say
perspective
it.
first?
Most sincere, as chaotic as she was, Ava. I feel like if she was raw, she was evil. And here's the thing, really quick, I want to see Ava's for Halloween. I want to see people sat like this. And
With
then
like
when
a
you pick
hoodie?
fight, you're like, that was her 1-2 pose. She was like here, or she was here. I love it.
I only think she was sincere
Gays
though when
love her.
it only sincere when it
Gays love her.
benefited her narrative.
The most insincere
100%.
was
When you guys got in the fight towards the last few episodes, I was like, finally, because you were.
I told her to shut the fuck up several times.
I think Vinny liked you guys so much.
well, he was like, finally,
Vinny and Sumner were
gay
the
men can
best
tell a
buddies.
straight woman to shut the fuck up more so than he probably wanted to.
Yeah, and at first it was like, oh, there was worry because I was yelling at Ava, but like not one person or one thing online is saying anything about that. I think one, people were waiting for that, but two, also Ava and I like we're girlfriends. Like, you know what I mean? We laughed the next day about us yelling at each other. You know, like it was just
I have a feeling she spent a lot of her life being
I
yelled at
wouldn't
by men.
I wouldn't yell at a random woman like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and Ava at that point had a friendship where it was like, when we're pissed at each other, we're gonna yell at each other, and if we're not, like, that's just how it was.
She wanted the drama.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a fan question. If Vinny were to drunk dial you and tell you he wants to come over and film with you guys, what would you say?
And did you
No.
see his
No.
dick?
Wait, no.
Did you see his dick?
Yes, I've seen a stick. I saw it the second
wait,
night.
wait. So I'm a psychic.
We were watching the porn in the
Later?
kitchen,
We
remember?
literally saw it the second night.
Amen.
I feel it's that Italian where it's very thick, it's a little shorter, but
It's pretty.
Was he cut?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
but it's thicker but
Wow.
shorter.
It's not as thick as
He has
me,
a-
but it's pretty.
I bet it was stout. It was like a nice salami.
He's still a
nice...
competitor in a house of
Okay,
heat.
Cody, you can testify. It's like not as thick and not as pretty as mine.
No, I think his is probably very
he was like a
comparable.
typical
It's
Italian.
very
It's like-
similar.
His
It's
is
very
fine.
similar to mine.
It's very comparable to mine, not quite as thick as his.
So if any were to call you drunk dialing, bringing it back.
He's done this.
Oh
Go
my
on.
God.
That was fresh.
We're going to clip and send this. What would you do? Because one of the first comments when you guys all moved in, Ava said, oh, he's gay for pay.
Which straight people don't realize what gay for pay means. We had to explain to them. We're like,
That's-
stop saying that because that is not what you're doing.
What did she
I'm
mean by
gonna,
it?
I'm gonna have to.
Pretty much gay baiting. Like he's like
Oh, that's not gay for
he's
pay.
not like
No,
having
he's
sex
not having
with
sex
men.
with
That's
guys.
that Chase guy. He was gay baiting.
Well, apparently
He was not gay baiting.
Apparently
Yeah, he
Chase
was putting stuff
no.
in his ass.
Chase couldn't even talk to humans.
Apparently
If I
Chase-
thought he was an
Chase
alien,
couldn't
I
even
would be
get-
like,
You guys-
Chase could not even get hard.
Apparently
Okay, you
Chase
guys, okay.
apparently Chase and Nate came out as bi this month on TikTok.
Oh, please.
Or
Chase did
June.
not come out as bi.
That's what
we
we
don't
heard.
want him.
That's what we don't want. I don't want him.
Flat ass, no balls,
I don't want
no
him.
personality.
I
We don't want him.
When he was talking about the abs, the pecs, and then you see him boxing and his belly's like shaking, I was like, what? They cut it out, but when I saw him shirtless for
Big
the
girls
first
need
time,
love too, though. Just so you
when
know.
I saw him, well, when you have that attitude and you act so pretentious, you better bring it. And you
I
did
felt
not.
the same thing when he brought this whole thing. He's like, "Oh, I tease people with what? I saw no balls.
Not the
I
man
saw
bun.
no ass. I saw."
Well, the first time I saw him shirtless, I was with Ava and he took his shirt off.
said
And
it, not us.
I said, well, that was a very undesirable reveal.
yeah.
Underwhelming.
We got off the track, and we have to wrap up. Who was the most sincere in the house that you felt?
Steph.
No. That's your personal opinion because you saw her
No,
there.
that's what I'm asking.
As-
Is their
as a
personal
That is my
viewer.
personal
I
opinion
will
because she's the closest we are in the house.
Yeah.
I agree.
She was made out
I
to be
agree.
the
I
least sincere
agree
person.
with every freaking move that Steph.
Who was
made.
hugging me when I was crying?
Steph.
It's good camera time, though, too.
I can't think of a single move that Steph made that I didn't agree with. I can think of a move that every other person in the house made that I was like, I wouldn't do that.
Out of everyone in the house, Steph is like, we hang out with Steph all the time, weekly.
It's not even about that, though.
And she is the person she is just the most amazing person, in my opinion. I will say Brandon is very sincere in a situation.
We do love Brandon.
But he, from what I've heard, does say things behind people's back.
You think Steph held herself back that last episode? She absolutely did. She has a lot more.
I want to know who was called. I want to know who that.
We're not
girl-
going to get there.
Wait, what was her name?
We might know
The girl
that.
We're
with
not
the
going to
flip?
get there.
We might know
Two
that.
things.
I do know, but we're
Two
not going to
things.
get there.
I felt Brandon walked in like, hello, I'm going to be on reality TV.
He chose peace. He wanted to be like the center.
He
of
seemed
it.
the most insincere.
How does that girl
but I
keep
do
the
like
flip
his
in her
butt.
hair? How does she keep that flip in her hair? What
Wait,
was
wait.
she doing?
So that hairdo,
That
That's
was
the whole thing.
fake
You
for the
guys,
show.
we have to wrap up.
that
I
hair
wanna
was
wrap up
only
with-
for the show.
No, ask us more questions.
We have to wrap up the
ask
show.
us more
and we
questions
have
about
to
I don't
wrap
want
it
to
up.
leave yet.
No, ask us more
We'll
questions.
talk
about
after.
castmates.
I have questions.
But Jade, I did love her flip hair.
I love the flip.
But Brandon, I never thought he was sincere. The minute he walked in, he was like, let's get drama going.
No, he was sincerely trying to play nice. Like Brandon just.
I think he
wanted
played
peace.
sincere.
Okay, wait. So you just said that. So ask us a question about Brandon. I want to know.
Well, we got a lot of questions.
I wanna
Was
know.
he sincere or not? Did he? Oh, here's what I got many times. And I don't want to focus on him because we have to end on like a question about you guys. Did he
Okay.
try to collab with you over and over? Is what I got.
Okay,
He did.
so here,
Yes. Okay.
can I clear this up? I've been
did.
waiting to talk about it. So you know the episode 9 where I lose my shit and become a psycho,
Oh, he was trying
and
to
he
like,
says,
she's
I don't,
sweet, but
I don't
she's
want to,
psycho.
I don't want to collab. I don't want to collab with you. And I said, I don't want to collab with you anyway. And he said, oh, because I'm black. Let's just clear that up because the collab he was talking about was he asked to be in the collab with us and Rocky. So not only was he pulling himself out
Rocky
of a
was your guy.
out of a collab,
And it didn't
so
happen.
It was
no,
ours.
no, it happened. It happened a few weeks
It
ago.
did happen.
Yeah.
But also, not only was he pulling himself out of a collab that he pushed himself into, but then he pulled the race card on a collab where we're still collabing with another black guy. And that is where it made me very upset.
Listen, I saw Rocky's dick online. I said maybe I should get back into
It is probably one of the
It is
biggest
big.
ones I've taken.
big-
And we
in my
had a
life.
very amazing collab. I've shot with him for studio. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And then we did our own collab after the show was done. We had an amazing collab.
And he was so
We
sweet.
saw it. We
he
did
watched
research.
the
Yes.
argument in
He's
the closet. And he
amazing.
was like, "Here's where everybody's at."
But also,
He's amazing.
that whole
He was so
situation
sweet.
made us upset because, like, we were very close with Brandon. Every night we would watch Bravo together in our room. They didn't show that. We became very, very close. So that
We
moment
never
where
saw that.
moment where he was saying that we are the representative of our friends at the pool party, we actually had a conversation
so
already. We actually had a conversation already with him about that before that scene, and he brought it up again, and that's why we were drunk, but we also got fired up about it. That was the main reason why we got fired up about it.
And yeah, throw us to in West Hollywood. You'll meet him.
All right, question about us.
No, but like the fact that he knew what to say though, because he was speaking to the rest of the West Hollywood. I've gone to all the pool parties and all that, you know, and I know.
But did you hear what he said to me? He goes, I pinged you the moment you walked through the door. How is that any worse?
But in my heart, like I knew that he was trying to like.
Yeah.
Would you guys come back to House of Heat too?
Oh, 100%.
If you guys were producers, what would you do to the show?
I would show more of the content and how people are making the content. I'd be like, I do love the show. I think it was amazingly edited. I love the product. I'm very proud of it. I just want to show people want to see more work. Like that's the most comments I've seen. And we did do that. So I just want to be able to do it again and so they can show it. That's the main point.
But I think it's one thing to watch people make donuts. It's another thing to know why they make donuts and how they feel why they're making the donuts. And
Yeah.
that's what
Somebody
we got
say
in this
donuts?
season.
Yes.
It was like, what
I
is
love a good
what makes
donut.
it all tick?
Which is
behind
why
the scenes?
I think we need a season 2 and you need to bring back some of us because.
So here's the next question, because we have to finish up.
No,
Who would you bring back from the first season? Who would you invite to come in the second?
Okay, so if I was going to, I mean, Chase, Fosh, already gone. I think that
What if we forced Chase to come back?
no, we're not bringing Chase back.
I heard he wanted a reunion.
I think that what would be great would be to have a house full of 10 creators. 10 creators is like, I think that's a good solid number. So if you have us two,
With
Steph,
2 bathrooms?
yeah.
No, we will. We better be in a
I
different
was
house.
showering naked. I don't care. I don't care about the house. You have us two, Steph, Brandon, Ava, 5, and you have 5 new creators. I think we need some straight creators, some bi creators, and maybe one more gay.
I'll take a trans
creator.
creator.
I said
I
that
would
too.
love a trans
I
creator.
said that too because I would love to collab with a trans creator.
Love.
I would love to.
I would love for Tubi to say, we're not going to get into your drama. You need to be creating. If you're not creating, then you're out of the house.
Yeah, exactly.
There's be elimination.
And you will hear, even though it's not shown, if you watch all the episodes, you will hear, even when we had our fight, Brandon's like, you guys have been collabing your asses off. You guys have been
Well, when we got in a fight,
people will say
they
that.
said it.
People will say that because they knew we were.
Even people who don't like us from the show right now, I think they still would come on here and say we work the
Who
hardest.
doesn't like? What are some of your haters?
Well,
I've never.
I mean, Jade has us blocked, but I also said her pussy was tired in the finale, so it's just that's kind
Okay, so let's bring this back to our final. We know Jade and Steph got into this like girl not supporting each other, and it was like nasty and bringing up
somebody was
secrets.
called.
And here's the thing: we all know that we have secrets on everybody else. The minute we go out to a side win, we have secrets. I can't understand why women are not supporting women, and I thought that House of Heat would have been like, oh. But also, we know that gays don't support gays either.
Yeah.
Why don't we just support? Because if we all succeed, we all succeed. You are different even from each other. You're different from me. We're different from each other. Steph and Jade are different from each other. Why is nobody supporting?
Because everyone's trying. It's we're all entrepreneurs. We're all making our money based on our own. People are trying to just. It sucks, but people are just climbing over each other.
I know exactly. I know the full story now. Of what Jade did.
We know the names. We know the people.
The names. I know
not
how
our
she did
story
it.
to tell. Not our story to tell.
But will you tell me
But
afterwards?
let's go
And I
back
will
to
tell you
our
about-
final theme, though. Is like, why can't we just support each other as creators?
It's like any other industry, people are just trying to climb the corporate ladder in some sense.
But we
right?
all do something so
But
different.
I think you know what, we went in there doing that, and then initially, if you watch the first couple episodes, we are doing that,
100%.
and I think what happened is the drama got in the way, and hatreds formed, and people became reluctant to help others, and it became more of a competition between us than it should have been. And if you can say what you want about Steph, but like she literally wholeheartedly came in there and was giving way more to people than she was getting. And I can tell you that because she, like, our profits from just some simple things she told us have bumped the fuck up. And she helped other people in that house too, even if they don't want to admit it.
That's
and
amazing.
we also, like, one of the other things we did was, like, you don't see Brandon, like, our whole YouTube format and podcast that we do, we help Brandon get all his equipment and set him up and, like, talk to him and advised him for weeks about, like, everything that he's doing now. Like, we did,
and he's
all
launching
that.
it like
We did
in a
all
week
that.
or so, which we're so proud of him. Like,
we're so proud of him.
it was a fun experience to like come in thinking like we actually came in thinking that we were gonna be amateurs, and we actually were the veterans, and we taught people, and it was cool to like show him the podcast way and for him to be excited about it. And it sucks that that part of the show wasn't shown, but that's why I want to go back and maybe show that side.
I'm sorry, I'm still not a Brandon fan. I'm sorry.
No, he's so sweet. He's just. I talk about self-producing. I feel like Brandon really.
I will tell you,
Brandon
Brandon is his intentions are great. He's a very nice person. He was very sensitive in the process, and he had a hard time splitting like the show with like actual life. What was happening?
You guys, we have to do a part 2. I mean, somebody.
Can we please do part 2?
I'll do a whole season.
I would love to come and hang out with you.
Did we have fun or did we have fun?
This was so fun.
Because you guys have done so many interviews. Can I ask a final question? Sorry, Tony. Tony has to go home to his husband.
Sorry,
which I
Tony.
get.
I have to go home to my husband.
Oh, that's so
and me
cute.
and my dog.
Unfortunately.
Stupid bitch. No, I'm trying to pause a moment.
Oh,
so we
yes.
could flip it for some- yeah. You guys are like honored for your body and sexuality. Does that ever get tiring? And what is the pressure of having to be the cute guys and aging? We've seen Botox and all that. It's really hard.
It is taxing, and I think our little magic thing that we have is we have each other, and knowing that keeps us from indulging in the outside negativity. And that, is something I wish for everyone. So like, I even thought that through the house was like, we were able to be there for each other. Like we're Brandon and Jade and, they had each other as castmates, but it's different coming into somebody that you have years with and you can lean on. And that's kind of how we get through it, but that's also our brand. So it makes sense, I guess.
Having to keep up facially.
Oh, exhausting.
It's expensive, honey. But also, just drink lots of water.
I mean,
I actually keep
I
up.
drink a lot of water.
I actually keep up because
vodka.
he is he is actually so disciplined that like I put in the effort I do because I know I have to stand next to him.
this might be an unpopular opinion, but
you tell us.
I don't. I feel like when you get in the right habit, it's not that it's hard, habitual. That like I wake up.
I pull my.
I wake up every morning knowing that like I want to work out 2 hours a day. I want to eat this type of way during the day. If I travel on vacation, I know that I build in my workouts and my diet and everything. Yes, I enjoy myself. I have so many. We have nights where we binge watch Domino's and Cold Stone. We eat our faces off. But
the worst food choices, by the way.
Yes, and I love it. But like,
we eat it a lot.
I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, it's so hard. Like, it's not. It's habitual. It's about building habits.
But you also eventually, when you go through the process, you know your body. So
Yeah,
when
you
people
know your
ask me fitness or health tips, I'm like, I can tell you what I do, but that might not work for you. Like him and I can't do the same thing. His body wants to be lean and a twink, and I should be 300 pounds. So like we have to work out differently and eat differently. It's just genetics.
It's about finding what works for your body. And yes, it is hard work. I don't want
Thank you to Domino's for the free delivery.
We just actually had Domino's the other day.
Domino's deep dish.
Domino's is our guilty pleasure.
They had one piece. I'm like, it's something decadent. Okay, we have to end.
Okay.
Cody, where can we find and follow you?
Our main handle is at KoatySum, KoatySum for most things. I actually have Koaty Blayne individual account, and Cody Scheller is also my real name. So follow me.
And I have to pee.
So bad.
Sumner.
Okay, you can find me at Sumner Blayne, SUMNER BLAYNE on every platform, or at Cody Sum on every.
I also have to pee. And what was her name from the show that got peed on?
Kazumi.
Hey, Kazumi, where are you at? No, listen, we've all done the water sports.
She be ready.
I love her so much. I want to see more of her season 2. You can find me Dakota Payne official on Instagram, Dakota Payne. Next, I guess on Twitter. Google it.
But Gemini too,
or Gemini D Sexton. She's out there cross dressing.
His OnlyFans right now says taking a break.
Yeah, one of those like we're working on
construction worker
under construction.
Anyway, that's all, folks.
Let's do a collab.
That's all, folks. It's always a grab bag of fun here on The Rocks. A big thank you to our engineer and studio owner, Tony Sweet. Taylor Armstrong from Real Housewives of OC and Beverly Hills is coming on. Drag Races, Scarlet Envy is coming on. Dexter Carr, who is the lead dancer for Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce, is coming
Dexter.
on. Dancer. So we also have a celebrity exorcist.
Gross.
Good luck. She's going to exorcise some demons out of you, sweetie.
I hope. Please like, share, and subscribe. We can continue bringing this fabulous programming coming your way for free. Until next time, stay happy, I have to say thank you to Tubi, by the way. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy, and if you drink, stay tipsy.
Yeah.
Yay. Another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me at Sliding My DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.